Big up Spurs fans near and far, back with your boy Jed Spence and your boy Sean from PR TV. Now I have to say, thank goodness those bloody Euros are over. That was one of the dustiest tournaments I've ever seen in my life. And to be honest with you, I tried to get excited. I tried to get it up. But the truth is, I was bored out of my bloody wits, to be honest with you. And it's just so nice to be getting back to a sense of normality. The sense of normality being at my club. That's really who I give a damn about. I'm like Sean, this international stuff. Yeah, we tried to get excited, but really we weren't excited. Let's be real, Sean. Me and Sean both weren't excited. We're more excited about our club. Big up to everyone locked in, locked on. But there's things to be talking about because my beloved Tottenham Hotspur, whether you like it or not, I do think pre-season is an indication of how you may start the season. And unlike last season, we've had two wins, two back-to-back wins. We slapped up Hearts 5-1 with our kiddos. And then we took apart QPR yesterday, and Sean was watching the game. Now, I didn't watch the game, peeps, because I wanted to live stream it, but then I couldn't. So Sean's going to give us the lows, why we should be shaking our bum violently for our club. And then we're going to go into some breaking news today about Hojberg and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to get through today. Ghost, big up to you. He's already saying farewell to my Danish Viking. He's off to Valhalla, you know what I'm saying? One of them ones there. Big up. We've got the assembled in the room. Lenny Moon, big up to you. And then Georgie. Georgie, we need you here because we've got a lot of Chelsea fans shaking their bums for Maresca. Thank you for bringing some normality back. Do you get what I'm saying? But before we get into that, Sean, let's get into it straight away, I guess. QPR, pre-season. You've been watching. You actually went to the game against Hearts. So maybe touch on Hearts briefly. And then, and then we get into QPR and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough because I stayed just outside Glasgow. I went over to Edinburgh to see us play Hearts. Yeah. And I can't help it. I got very, very excited about seeing these kids who took on grown men and, who are who are in Europe this year. They gave them a tanning. They give them a shoe-in, as they would say in the old hooligan speak. They really were brilliant. Absolutely loved Archie Gray. Absolutely loved Lucas Bergwell. Can understand why we bought them. And Mikey Moore, he's one of our owners. We sang to him on Wednesday night as he put the third goal in.
Yep.
So brilliant. And I'm really looking forward to this new version of Angeball 2.0.
So obviously you got to see the game. You saw the boys live and direct. It seemed nice. From the little that you've seen, what has been the little change? Where is Archie Gray been deployed so far? Bergvall seems to be playing the kind of Bentancur number 8-ish thing, there, and then Mikey Moore, one of our own. Could he be a potential replacement to Harry Kane? We'll get into all of that. But what are you seeing? What are the nuances that maybe people, the neutrals, are probably not noticing, but we as Spurs fans are noticing?
Well, for Bergvall, he's not an 8, he's not a 10, he's not a 6. He's all of them. I mean, I've never seen a kid of 18 take the ball off the centre back and then just do an experienced Scottish professional, made him almost sold him such a dummy he had to pay to get back on the pitch. I mean, it was it was unbelievable. It was all over the place. What's the last goal that we scored against Hearts? That cross was a thing of beauty. And to be honest, Dane should have scored it. It should have needed a scramble at the post to put the ball away. But he's very, very exciting. I can understand why we've got him. I was a bit disappointed to see that he came off early yesterday injured, but Andrews assured us that it was nothing. Yeah. But I've heard that before, given the record of our medical department. So I'm always a wee bit concerned until I see him, lining up on next Saturday in Japan. I'll hold fire on that. But yeah, Bergvold's excellent. Mikey Moore was playing wide right. I think he prefers to play left and cut in, but he was fine wide right. If you're talking about Harry Kane replacement, you should have seen the finish that Lancashire did on Wednesday night in Edinburgh. Oh, that was Kane-esque. Absolutely, right in the corner.
Yeah.
We've got some great kids. We do need a bit of experience, I think, and it's and obviously what I like about these kids is that they're asking questions. They're asking questions of the coach, and they're also asking questions of the people who've got the shirt at the moment. If you don't perform, I'm here to take your place. That's refreshing.
Yeah, you know what? And picking up on the kind of asking questions, the first half team that we had out against Hearts, similar to the first half team that we had out against QPR, you would kind of say, I'm surprised to see that Son is starting these games. I don't know if you're a bit surprised, because I'm thinking I know it's pre-season, and usually at pre-seasons when you're giving the young ones more game time, but the way it's kind of looking like, we kind of start off with what could be the most experienced players in the squad who are available, and then the second half is like full of our young guns, and the young guns are the ones who slapped up Hearts. I felt that the old guard were bloody struggling. I mean, bloody under their bloody watch, we were 1-0 down, to be honest with you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if Hearts had taken their chances, we would have been down. But I mean, that doesn't help when you're playing Bergvold and Gray. You're playing Gray and Skip at centre back.
Yeah.
I mean, they are midfield players, or I think Gray can do a right back job. But Gray, what a player! What a player! I mean, there was a tackle in the first half. It was so strong, it burst the ball. I mean, this guy is so strong, he burst the ball. They have to replace the ball. So he doesn't take any nonsense. No prisoners will be taken. And I think we've got ourselves a little bargain here.
Yeah,
at 40 million. I mean,
I mean, you know me, I haven't been trying to shake my bum for Gray, but I am liking, and I am looking. I like it, but also there is something does feel different, because when Postecoglou came in, we'll know once they go to Asia next week, and we'll see the sort of team that he put out. But it just seemed like he's looking to. It feels like there's more of a focus on the younger ones. I don't know why I'm feeling this. I'm not reading that, but I'm just seeing the vibe with the players. Because one of the ones that has really excited me, people think I'm delusional. People think I'm crazy. But anyone who's been following me long enough knows that I found it absolutely madness that we were not playing Jed Spence when we had him. I just felt under Conte, in terms of what he wanted on the right-hand side, Jed Spence was kind of like the answer. I'm not saying Jed Spence by any stretch is going to be taking over Pedro Porro. I love Porro. I think he's the Don Diddy Don. But I'm liking the fact that he's playing well, and he's been given an opportunity. And the murmurings is that we may keep him and not sell him on. Now, you've seen him directly, and you watched the game yesterday. I don't want to use the term shaking of bums, but does Jed Spence have an opportunity to be in and around the squad potentially this season, based on what you've seen so far?
Based on what I've seen, he does. I mean, he can play that inverted fullback. I mean, he scored a goal against Hearts, which was big up to Timo for putting it on a plate for him. But the only thing is, I mean, he was really impressive going forward on Wednesday. Yesterday, he was a bit more. He was forced to do a lot more defensive work, because in the second half, he absorbed an awful lot of pressure, because the kids didn't get it all their own way, to be honest, in the second half. And it was clear that it is a step up. Championship from Scottish Premier League is a step up. These players, obviously, QPR are a little bit further along in their pre-season, as far as I know. So it was a tougher shift for Jed, but he acquitted himself. He still managed to get forward when he could, but all I keep reading is that quote by Ange after the Hearts game, and it's like it's very, very faint praise. And he says, and there's that line, there's a classic. I can't remember the exact quote, but so don't at me here, but it's like, as long as he's still a Spurs player, I will prepare him. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. I'm unless he's turning up for meetings, unless he's turning up on time. He was at Leeds, and Johan Lange, who lives near Leeds, I believe, his family home is near Leeds, had to go and speak to him when he was on loan at Leeds and say, look, God's sake, turn up, because he was late for team meetings, he was late for training.
Bloody hell.
You know what I mean? And you're on loan, and you want, you're throwing away your opportunity. I mean, this guy has played through the England youth setup, and there's a place at right wing back coming up because Walker's not getting any younger, and he could be, he should be, if he was playing as we know he can, he should be in consideration.
Yeah,
but he's. I just don't feel he's got it.
I hear you. No, but from him personally, he seems to be loving it though. He's come out quite positive, because I just put myself sometimes in the shoes of these players. It must be tough to feel not wanted. You've been brought in, and then all of a sudden they don't want you. Then they send you out on loan and all of that, and you just got to kind of do this kind of like it or lump it type of thing. But he's come back saying, he seems like he wants to give it a go. But I totally hear it, because if he's doing silly things like not turning up, doing a Jadon Sancho, that's not a good look. No one's going to be taking unprofessionalism in and around their squad. It's not going to happen. So, but I just got a little bit excited, because I always thought there is a player there if under the right manager, because you think Pedro Porro. I don't really want to see Emerson Royale, to be honest. And the good news is Emerson Royale is probably going to go at some point next week to AC Milan. But you need a player that's going to fly forward. And he's got the pace, he's got the kind of attributes, the stature to really be our version of Reece James if he gets it all right, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't want to sound over the top, but
no, I have to say probably the best. I mean, a lot of people have commented here on these little nutmeg in the corner flag and what have you, winning a corner in the attacking field. But I thought his biggest contribution yesterday was my boy Tyrese Hall, who on Wednesday I loved. I fell in love with Tyrese Hall. What a play! He lost the ball in midfield, and it was Jed Spence that did the covering run to get back in order to intercept the cross-come shot. And, that was a really, really good piece of defensive work on his part. So, whether that impresses Ange, it takes a lot to impress Ange. Did you see his little interaction with Basuma post-match?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, where he's like,
it's only pre-season. Do you know what I mean? Pre-season, yeah.
Although Basuma took that goal absolutely well. I mean, he was sourcing. He looked like he'd stopped doing this whole going down to kick game and Louis Vuitton, and actually that he'd put in some work pre-season. I just hope. Obviously, it's very hard to tell, but the signs are looking positive in the terms of the way that the players are playing. The only thing is, I would say, as some other people have commented earlier in the week, it just looks too young. Like, we need some experience. You mentioned it yourself, and me and you, we've been going back and forth on the WhatsApp. And I was kind of just saying, look, I can't get excited yet because I'm not seeing enough yet from our club. But then that was literally Friday when me and Sean were literally going at each other's throats. And then all of a sudden we wake up this morning only to find out that Hojberg, our version of Ragnar Rothbrook, is on his way out to Marseille under De Zerbi. Now, let me just caveat this. I know there's a lot of Spurs fans who are happy to see Hojberg go. But I was reading a bit back and forth between, one of the guys who kind of posted the news first and another guy saying it is poor business from Spurs to be selling Hojberg for about 10 mil. That is a disgrace. When he, in my opinion, is worth 20, 25, 30 mil. He's someone that can do a job. You know what I mean? He can still play Champions League football, in my opinion. And he's got a bit of an experienced head. He's not a complete disaster. I mean, we got worse players in our squad. So I'm a bit on the fence with it because it's like he's not that bad the way that we're making out. But at the same time, he's probably not going to start for us. Do you think? I mean, look, he has to go because but I haven't seen the replacement for Hojberg. I think maybe I would be shaking my bum more if I had seen like an Edison come in. Then I'd be like, oh, bloody hell, we got rid of Hojberg and we brought in an Edison, or that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know, Sean. How are you feeling? I know you're a bit more excited by this more than me, but Pep Guardiola, called him. What did he call him? Because he was under Pep at Bayern Munich, but he called him. He said he was probably one of the most complete midfielders that he had at his disposal that he worked with. And are we making a mistake here? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I know he can't play the on system, but I don't know. You tell us, Sean.
The biggest mistake will be to wait 5 months and he walks away for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, he can sign a pre-contract in January, so we've got some money for him. There are other reports. I've shared one with you from the Athletic this morning saying that we're going to get close to 20 million euros for him. So, I mean, a player who's 29, he's in the last year of his contract. I think that's probably, given Spurs' history about selling players, that's probably a success story. And I think it's actually a loan with an obligation to buy, and once that's all added up, I think it's closer to 20 million euros rather than the figures that I keep seeing quoted here. So I'm not, I mean, Hojberg does a job in a certain style, in a certain, thing, but to me, he's capable of one almighty F up a game.
Yeah.
And that, and when you're playing as deep as he was for us, that's goals or at least chances, again. So we didn't need to give chances last season because we were conceding too many goals we need to be chopping 20 goals off the goals against this season. Yeah. So I'd rather have someone who's more mobile. I could actually see Gray doing his job. Honestly, I really think Gray is that good. I think he can do his job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair.
Fair.
And maybe that's probably
I would love it. I would love Edison without a doubt. I mean, that would be my ideal defensive midfielder. But is he going to come to Atalanta, who are probably in the Champions League? To us, no, I don't see it.
Yeah. Daryl Bradford is kind of agreeing with you there, Sean. It's about 20 mil euros, with add-ons 16.8 mil. Just think I still think we could have squeezed that 25, but whatever. In terms of what we're getting rid of them.
Well, it depends. I mean, the only other teams that were showing an interest were Turkey, and I think your career goes to Turkey to die. I'm sorry, it's not. It's probably quite a competitive league, but you go out, you're out of visibility. At least in Ligue 1, he's in, he's in Western Europe, and he'll get seen. And he's got French. I mean, he's got a French first name because his mum's French, so I can understand the appeal. You know what I mean? So,
and I must say they're a decent team. Look, I guess the positives that I can take from it, and I pick up on Daniel's point. Dan Hojberg is worth what clubs are willing to pay. Good player, but we need to move on. And I kind of agree with that. I think he's a decent player. He's not the worst that we had at our disposal. I can think of other players.
I don't know if I speak for you, Deji, but he goes with my best wishes, and thanks for his service. But we're a new ball club now. Our club has changed. We play differently. There's different requisites of our. If that's the right word. Requisites of our midfield now. They need to be mobile. They need not to be kind of dawdling on the ball. and they need to be brave. And I've seen that in Bergvall, and I see it in Gray.
Well, yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we don't go and buy, another experienced midfielder like we're linked with Ramsey, or we're linked with God forbid we're linked with bloody Mason Mount today as well. I can't understand that, but anyway, never mind.
Well, for me, and the assembled, I am going to get back to you because I did see your question about whether Spurs are winning the league, and Sean and I we're going to dissect what our roadmap plan and what we're expecting of our club this season. What I will say though is the positive side of things is we seem serious. How many seasons have we gone where we're just holding on to dead wood? Do you get what I'm saying? You got the Dembélés, all of these players that you ain't gonna bloody play, and they're just hanging around. The fact that I'm seeing that we're getting rid of Hojberg, the fact that we know that Emerson Royale's pretty much in Serie A with AC Milan, the fact that Lo Celso looks like he's about to be picked up by Aston Villa, and it makes sense, by the way, that Lo Celso's going to Villa because he bloody played for this brother when he was at Villarreal. I forgot about that link completely. So that looks very, very plausible. Get rid of the ones we know we're not going to play. Also frees up some of the, the wage, what do you call it, the wage bill or whatever, and then bring in the players. I guess the only bit for me, and big up to all the Spurs fans, Daryl saying, we're wishing Hojberg the best of luck. I wish him luck. I'm not going to be the one trolling him and saying he was rubbish. No, he was a loyal, he was a good servant, a proper professional. Do you know what I mean?
He came up clutch with us with big goals as well. You know what I mean?
Hey,
away at Chelsea, that Marseille goal,
So we've got to put some respect on his name. But like you said, the football, we are moving on. It's a new era for our club. What I need to see now moving forward then, Sean, because that's the bit. Like everyone knows, I love our team. I love it. But the rivals are coming out. We're seeing Aston Villa buying players. We're seeing Man United buying players. Yeah, we brought a couple in. We still need. Timo Werner. Do you want to talk about Timo Werner? Because I know you've been quite nice. He was a bloody horror show against QPR and an absolute disgrace against Hearts. He got an assist, but let's be real. I would have got a hat trick against Hearts if I was playing, and I ain't kicked ball in 10 years. Just saying. Your thoughts on Werner? Is that a mistake? He's looking pretty dusty right now.
Yeah, I have to say he looks the rustiest of them all, and he's got no excuse because he wasn't in the Euros. He's my only hope is that as pre-season goes on and he gets inculcated with the methods that he becomes better. But that one-on-one miss late in the first half yesterday was unforgivable. Yeah. Unforgivable. Kulu had put it on a plate, and big up to Kulu yesterday. He came on in the when he was earlier than he was expected to, and he played probably two of the best passes of the whole first half. But oh my God, I was really hoping that I would see an improvement in Timo, and at the minute, honestly, I just think, my God, we're in trouble. But my only issue is that he's on loan. And his contract runs out, and we don't have to do anything come June next year. We can just say thank you very much, and it's up to him. It's up to him. He's got to make himself. But then if I think wide left, I've got Son.
Yeah.
I've got.
But he can't be the backup.
I've got Mikey Moore can play there. He played really well for England.
You don't think Mana Solomon can have a shout at that left-hand side? He's another one that I think is fully dusty.
No. I to be honest, I think he's too lightweight. He gets pushed off the ball too quickly, and everyone's sort of shaking their bum at him for his performance against Burnley last season. Well, anyone could perform against Burnley last season, for God's sake.
Against Burnley, I'll do you something. You know what I mean?
So even I can, and I'm 15 stone too much heavy. You know what I mean? So it's just it's not I just don't see him as a prospect at all. And he came on yesterday as the experience in the second half, and again, invisible, absolutely invisible. And the same on Wednesday when he was in the first team in the first half. It was, I just don't remember much of a contribution at all. So.
Yeah. Well, big up to everyone locked in, locked on, everyone here. John James in the building, United fan. Bowenny to you. I am doing well. Thank you very much. Big up to you. We are like dissecting our club, Tottenham Hotspur, getting into it, shaking our bums because we've got 2 out of 2. The good promising signs for Mickey Moore, Bergwall, do you know what I mean? The Archie Grays of this world. Kulu, just want to touch on Kulu. You happy with his performances so far? For me, I still think there's a shout for... I've not seen enough from him. There was apparently Aston Villa were looking at Kulusevski, and I was like, right, if they want him...
and Naples as well.
Yeah.
Conte wants his old boy back, but you know what? I mean, you said earlier, would we regret selling Hojberg? I think we would live to regret selling Kulusevski. I do. I think he provides. He's not a winger. He's not a winger. There's no, he does that wide right thing. That's him done. He's never going to do that again. I think he plays a role as a attacking midfielder or a false 9, or maybe even a number 9. Because I have to say, Son looked very rusty in that. In that.
I don't ever want to see Son in the number 9 position ever again.
I mean, Johnson got a lot of slagging, but he put 2 on a plate for him yesterday and just didn't score. It was terrible. But anyway, no. I'm sorry. I'm Kulu in. I'm saying Kulu stay.
I'm Kulu.
Two of the best, as I say, 2 of the most quality things yesterday were provided by Kulu, and yeah.
The yardstick that I want you to also be thinking about, Sean, and big up to everyone locked in, locked on, because we now need to help Postecoglou out. We know Postecoglou is a big fan of the channel. He's always watching us, and he does put in and some of the stuff that we say. Every time I'm watching our club pre-season, I'm looking at who's starting. Does Kulu start for Spurs? That's the question. Because if he's putting in a good performance, they're also look. He looked good yesterday. Did he put in a big enough performance, Daryl, that in your mind he's in our starting 11? Because if he's not in your mind in our starting 11, then for me it's not good enough. I know I'm sounding harsh, but this season for me is make or break. I've been shaking my bum violently for my club all my life, but now we got to stop the talking and we need to be getting things done. Trophies, battling for that top half of the table. It needs to happen, and we need to be showing the signs. I'm not expecting us to win the league or anything like that this season, but we need to be seeing the kind of that we have been cooking. Yeah, we put the rice in the rice cooker, we put the water in, and we've left it to cook. And I need to be seeing signs that rice is getting soft. Yeah, getting soft in my book. So I need to know, Sean, from your perspective, has he done enough so far? It's still early days, but look, you're assessing Archie Gray based on what you fed to me. I would imagine you're seeing Archie Gray as a potential starting in our 11. Yeah. Bergwall is also giving you a persuasive case. That's the sort of levels. Has Kuli given you the same vibes?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because of the formation that we play. It may be that he's. I think currently I would find a place for him. I'd maybe have Bergwall or Gray on the bench, right? But I still think he's. I still think he's a starter for us. The problem is, of course, we're judging it part the way through a transfer window, isn't it? We don't know what's going on. Paul O'Keefe, who's rated by a lot of people in the sort of transfer community, says that they're trying to accelerate 3 inwards. So who they are could be, could make a massive difference. Yeah. If Eze was to turn up, then Kulu isn't in the 11. Yeah. You know what I mean? But someone raised it. I read it somewhere. It's not based on anything, but they said, is Eze a replacement for Son?
He has to be. He has to
Is
be.
he? I mean, he certainly is the long-term replacement.
Surely.
I wonder whether Eze's a deal that we do next summer.
Oh! I don't think we can afford to wait till next summer. Because if Eze kicks on, he's going to be 100
but that's not to say that there's not been a pre-contract.
Yeah, fair. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like we need it now. I don't know about you, but I've been saying for a while, Sean, and a lot of Spurs fans probably didn't want to hear this out. I've been saying from time, I've got the receipts that I wouldn't mind if we got rid of Son. I know why we're keeping him. But we need to be preparing for the successor from now. Eze is the successor. I think Son has a stinker this season, honestly. The way he pitted out towards the end of last season, the way he's looking fully dusty at the moment, dusted in Tutankhamun. I'm not sure we're going to see the same Son. And for me, we should be preparing for exit. Son is a legend. I ain't got a negative thing to say, but since we're doing all these young guns from now, we might have just finished off the job. you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, it's the deadly cull. The cull of
Carnival.
No, I think Son offers us one more season, one more big season, and
I mean, I hope he does. If he can have a good season, 15 goals plus, like he's been doing, great. But if Son is under 10 goals this season, then I'm gonna be like, we flopped on this one. We really wasted time because at the moment there are signs that Spurs want Neto and Eze. That excited me. The fact that we're looking at both of those two players, and then it looks like Brentford have come down with this whole 60 plus mil for Tony, and now we're hearing that they've come back to their senses and Tony's hovering around the 40 mil. Bringing them 3 players, it's not bad. The only thing, though, for me is that Tony just lacks pace up top, though. And I don't know whether he does fit the system completely. He'll just be like a Van Nistelrooy, just in the box, tapping the ball in. But I can't see any other parts to his game that's going to help Spurs, if you know what I mean.
Judging by Ange's roll up here at Celtic, Kyogo was Quicksilver. You know what I mean? He was there or thereabouts in the box, ready for the cross coming in. So you need someone with a bit of. I mean, I still think they're looking hard at that David, Jonathan David.
He's dusty. No, he's rubbish. No, he's crap. I've seen him. We saw him in the Copa America for Canada, and Zeus confirmed it. No. Hell no. That's as American as I get. I know he's not American. He's a Canadian. But hell no for Jonathan David. I don't want to see that, brother, anywhere near our club.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, Stu D says, look, Son is 32. Last chance to cash in this season, really. Have to start looking to replace. Stu, I am of the same opinion. He's a legend. And this is the problem. We waited on Kane, and then we found ourselves with nothing. Eze is the natural replacement. Eze, Nico Williams, that type. Who else? Neto, for me, can do the job. Mitoma can do the job. These are players that we know, put them on the left-hand side, they're going to do a job. If we're not bringing in the Son replacement now, we're going to find ourselves at the beginning of next season, we're still without Kane, still without Son, and it's a disaster. I mean, Assembled threw in a little cheeky question earlier, and he said, would I take back Kane? I would. It's just that Kane wouldn't come back to our club. But I would take Kane back. Kane is a bad man up top. He's still got it. He got 50 bloody goals all season at Bayern Munich. Why wouldn't you bring him back? The best striker in world football. But who is going to be on that left hand? We need pace there. Neto, Eze. That is frightening. And I remember I told you, that's why that Timo Werner thing is really starting to piss me off, to be honest. Because
the thing is, he does have pace, but he's ball skills are dreadful. And I want a winger who's going to score goals. I mean, the way Johnson took his goal midweek was absolute class because it came in at a really difficult angle and he managed to put his side foot on it. And I think Johnson's going to have a good season. Because remember last year he didn't have a preseason with us. He joined late on, and I think he's obviously a year down the road. He knows the system a bit more. But
I want every success. If he can do that, Sean, then by all means, I've got Johnson's back. I just want to see. For me, you don't need to be perfect. I just need to see effort, and he's looking sharp though. To be fair, he's looking decent. He's looking like he could even start. That's why I asked the question, because at the moment, I think Johnson has shown more than Cooley. And that's why I'm saying.
I think Johnson's the right wing of this season for this season. Definitely, he's got it wrapped up unless Mikey Moore's getting minutes. You know what I mean? So
big up. Then Stu D here. I know I've got my own personal opinion on this. It'd be good to hear from Sean. I don't think I've ever spoken about Solanke to Sean. You know what, Solanke, big up to him, because for me, I always like to see homegrown talent coming through. And as a player that's made it to where he's made it, you got to give him his props. But I'm not going to lie. When Bournemouth came to Spurs, Romero was licking his lips. He was like, you little man, you stay right there. You ain't doing jack. Now, for me, the sort of strikers that I want to see at my club are the sort of strikers that rattled my centre-backs. If you're rattling Romero and you're rattling Van der Ven, it means you've got something. The only centre-back, the only striker in the Prem last season that legitimately rattled us was Isak. The way he put Van der Ven on his bum, I thought, you know what? He's a player. And to be honest, he roughed up Romero a few times as well. That's the sort of player that I need at my club. But a striker that Romero just thought, I'm just going to put my finger on your shoulder and you ain't going nowhere. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for Spurs. Do you know what I mean? It's not good enough. I don't know who Swamp is talking about, whether Swamp is talking about Tony, Solanke, or David. But David is not clinical. And in the Prem, you're not going to get many chances. The brutality of the defenders means you got to be like Son. One of Son's key attributes and why we love him so much is because he's a sniper. In front of goal, 9 out of 10 times, Son buries it. That's what you got to be at this level. That's what Kane was. At this level, they were snipers. Because if they were average strikers, they don't get the numbers that they get because we don't really create the sort of chances that some of the other clubs create as well. So that's why Tottenham need to go out and get the bad mans, the gangsters. I don't know. So Stu D says new front three, Eze, Tony, Sancho, 150 mil, all sorted. I like it, but there's one player in particular that I'm unsure of. Sean, I could see you frowning when you saw that. Do you like that front three?
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm just not sold on Tony. I'm just not sold on Tony. I'm not either. And it's not because of his abilities on the field. I'm just worried that I don't want him to become our Sandro Tonali. That we invest money in him and then we lose him out for half a season. It's a terrible addiction. Gambling. It's a terrible addiction. I've seen families completely ruined by it. You know what I mean? And it really pissed me off that we've got a betting company on our bloody training shirts this year. But anyway, that's another story. But I just worry that there's that weakness, and I don't want to lose a striker because we need a striker. We've needed a striker since Kane walked down the road 12 months ago. So I think I like Sancho. I like Eze. That would be one hell of a front line.
Yeah.
But I just have this nagging doubt about Tony. If he comes, like anyone who puts on the white shirt gets my backing. and will get my back, and you know what I mean. But I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It's about fitting to a system as well. And as you said, I don't think he's got. Has he got the pace over the ground?
I don't.
I'm not sure. He's very clinical.
And I wasn't sure. Also, there's some players that they are good for the Brentfords of this world, but when they make the step up, you look at Zaha, for example. He left Crystal Palace, went to Man United, shadow of himself. Some will argue he should have been given more time on the Moyes. But he just went back home and he was the man. He was the man at Palace, and that was totally fine. And maybe he's the man at Brentford, but a big club like Spurs, I'm just not sure he's got the mettle to kind of do it, but we will see. Swamp.
Well, I mean, if he turns up, it means he's been through the Ange interview, whether done by Zoom or whatever. And if he turns up and Ange is giving it the nod, then we have to go with it. But until he's on TottenhamHotspur.com holding up the shirt, I'm not going to really sweat it too much. I'm sure there are. I mean, it's a difficult market because everyone wants a striker.
Yeah.
And there's the quality is not there, really, to be honest. I mean, that Guirassy that a lot of people talk has just moved within the Bundesliga, you know what I mean? So we need a striker, but I'm not sure Tony's it. But we'll see.
I agree. Big up to Swamp 4532. He said he was talking about David. Sorry, my brother, he's not quality, mate. He's not good enough for the Prem. And then we've got Lord Rodney. This is the first time I'm seeing you. I'll be honest with you, Lord Rodney, no offense, even though you're using some swear words. He said he fits straight into our team. We have effing Werner. Look, we should not be having Werner. And then you said, respectfully, talking crap, he says Tony is a big game player. No, you see, Lord Rodney, Trotter, yeah? It sounds something like out of Fools and Horses. But anyway, we'll pass on that, and I'll tell you what I think. There are some players who can't make the step up. Remember, there's a way that Brentford play. They're almost like, what I like about Brentford is like the whole squad are full of quality players who are not big, if you know what I mean. So they work hard. They're trying to prove themselves. When you get to a big club, when you get to a big club, that's when you see that's when you see if they've got what it takes. Do you get what I'm saying? To do, when you get to a big club, that's when you know whether they can handle it. And the step up, the pressure, the expectations, the style of play has an impact. Now, remember, Tony is going to be potentially playing up front. Yes, we know if the ball lands to his feet, he can bag. But with the way that we played football, it's very tough. And can he spin a player, turn? Remember Kane. Kane was someone who was able to drop deep. He was able to thread passes into channels. There was more to his game. And you can even say the same about Son. More to their game. They weren't just strikers. And I just feel like an out-and-out striker for Spurs is probably not the one. It probably needs someone who's a bit more versatile, who can do a bit more things. And that's why I said I'm unsure as to whether Tony can make the step up. But, mate, at the end of the day, if they are able to come, if Tony comes to Spurs and hits the ground running and bags 20-plus goals, mate, I'll be excited. I'll be happy. But I'm saying from the attributes, and you know, Rodney, that we have struggled for that striker position. It's not something that we've got a good record. Klinsmann and then Kane, we had Robbie Keane. But since then, it's been dusty. Do you get what I'm saying? Remember Soldado, remember Janssen, remember Llorente. I mean, Vinicius. It just hasn't been.
Postiga.
Come on, man. It hasn't been good enough.
No, I mean, no offense taken, Lord Rodney, but
big up,
big up yourself, and your opinion is valid like everyone's. But you say he's a big game player. How many big games has Tony been in? He played in the European Championship, but you know, other than a contribution with a penalty and an assist for Kane. I don't see him. He didn't step up for me. So where's his big game experience? And I don't want it to be a case like Matt Doherty when he came in and saw the stadium. He was like frightened. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He could be like a lot of players, big fish in a small pond, quite happy. I'm not sure about Tony.
And I like,
I mean, as I say, if Ange wants him, then I'm happy with it.
Yeah. And look, I like how Lord Rodney thinks, because one of the things I'm seeing in the comments here is he thinks outside the box. I remember Wilfred Boney,
good player,
as a potential, I thought, quality, almost Drogba-esque. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, who did he move to? I swear he moved from Swansea to a club, and it just didn't quite happen for him. I don't know, Rodney, who did he leave Swansea to go to? And it just weren't the same Boney. Because at a time...
Remember at Swansea, that guy Miku, the Spanish guy?
Yeah.
Banging them in for fun, went back to Spain, now he's in the 5th division, I think,
Yeah. I think maybe I've just been traumatized by the fact that strikers, we just don't seem to be getting it right. But like I said, I'm happy to be proved wrong, because at the end of the day, we want to see, I'm not Saba. I actually want to see some success for our club. So big up. Yeah, we're just going to round up a couple more comments and then we'll round up. But Toxic Twala, big up to you coming in from South Africa, saying, why is Spurs going to Asia and not the US? We are going to Asia for the money. We've been to Australia and back. We're going back out there for the peas. Remember, AIA, man is rocking it right here, is a Korean company, mate. We got to do our duties over in that part of the world. So that's probably why. I don't even think we have an American sponsor. I think the closest we get to Americans is the NFL, to be honest, coming and doing what they do in our stadium, and Beyonce shaking her bum violently on our pitch. That's about it in terms of the US involvement at our club. And it's a matter of Levy won't get us him. You're probably right. I think if the one thing, there's a lot of criticism about Levy, but the truth is, I feel like some of the criticism is a little bit too much. I know in the past, Levy has been diabolical and he's had many reasons as to why he hasn't been able to do things, but there's no reason, if a decent price, I just think it's just got to be worth it. If Tony is worth 68 mil, then we should be spending the peas. The fact that we're saying we don't want either Eze or Neto, the fact that we're saying we want both, is what excites me, that Spurs are willing to spend some money. But me as a Spurs fan, I'm unsure as to whether Tony is the person. Could it be Gyökeres? Could it be even bloody Morata? Do you know what I'm saying? Morata's
gone. It's all right.
I know he's gone, though. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
you know the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Lord says he wasn't a big game player. He went to City. Who's he saying? He said every game is a big game for Brentford. Yeah. But when you're playing for Spurs, it's different levels. Tony's levels above Boney. I know. He says, I like what you're doing, but it seems like you're doing Levy's work for him. That's just how I see it. Yeah, no, look, at the end of the day, I feel like we as fans, we got to do what we need to do to kind of support. At the end of the day, it's our guy, Ange, who's going to decide. I just hope Ange has been fully backed. Rodney, let me be clear, and Sean can testify, and look at Sean in his eyes. I've not been happy with our summer so far. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm trying to be positive. Sean been out there. He's twisted my arm into liking Archie Gray. That's the bloody truth. I've been unsure. I can't lie to you. Even Bergvall, I can't shake my bum for him. I just want to be sure that when the season starts, we have the tools to kick on. Because if we don't finish top 4, I swear down, I'll be breaking laptops, I'll be breaking my ring light, and I'll be breaking a few other things live on stream, and it'll be going viral. No, just kidding.
What, my neck as well?
Do you know what I'm saying? No pressure. You know what I mean? But things will get smashed if we don't fix up and look sharp. So I guess part of my nervousness is the fact that I personally don't feel enough has happened yet. That doesn't mean it won't happen, I would take Tony at my club. I'm just scared. Sean is scared that a Tonali could happen. I'm just scared that he comes in and does a bloody Richarlison. That would really, really piss me off. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we can't afford for that now at the moment. I just think we can't. I know, and I don't want to be putting these guys under pressure, but that's just the bloody truth. So big up to you. And he said, that's real. Just imagine, Aegon has said, a front four of Eze, Neto, Maddison, and Son. Skip, bro, I am saying to you, that front four is getting us top four. In fact, I would go as far as to say, and this is for Rodney, but also to Sean, I think Eze and Neto is more important than finding the number 9. That means, though, Sean, Johnson doesn't start. Are you cool with that? If we bring in Eze and Neto?
Well, the reason I'm cool with it is because I know that Johnson will get starts because Neto's not going to do a 30-game season.
Yeah,
his hamstrings are like, you know, Papa Mache.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. Same with that. Same with Solomon. 6 games for us last season, 5 games for Fulham the year before. I'm sorry, you know, if the best ability is availability, and if you're not available, you're not good. You're no good to us.
Yeah,
you're drawing a wage, and you're not able to turn up on a Sunday, whatever.
Well, look, if I guess my final thing now is, what is your expectations? And this is, I'm throwing it out there to the chat. Big up Rodney, big up everyone locked in, locked on, Twala, everyone. Expectations for Spurs. What are you hoping to see this season, Sean, quickly? We're getting in now. But I feel like there's a lot of fans.
We're peppering ourselves around the top 4. And with a bit of luck, as you need, we're winning a cup. Which cup, I don't know, but we're winning a cup.
If we don't get top 4 for whatever reason, is that failure on Postecoglou? I'm not taking it there. I'm not going to spend like a whole hour talking about failure and this and that. It's a quick one, but from our perspective, I don't know why, but I just feel like this season we need to be seeing some big boy moves. But I don't know. Are we allowing?
I would never hang it on Postecoglou because I think he's exactly what the club needs.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I would say the failures elsewhere on the players and the recruitment. The guy's got a winning formula. He's followed him everywhere. You know, it's up to us.
Yeah. All right, fair play. Look, Rodney has been putting in bare persuasive arguments here, mate. I'm going to go as far as to say Rodney is borderline Tony's agent because he's been putting in persuasion. He's persuaded me with the bloody free kick and penalties thing because we do need a free. We ain't scored a free kick at least in 20 years. God. I mean, I think we've got to be one of the worst teams. I need to see the stats. I want to make sure for the next show I get the stats up. But we are the worst for scoring free kicks in the Prem, surely, because I've not seen a score.
I mean, we all hope that Maddison would do that, but I mean, even was it yesterday? Certainly on Wednesday, he just stuck it straight in the wall again. It's like watching Kane all over again. You know what I mean?
Crusty, man. It's so of the
and yet, Don does it for his career like that. I think there must be shorter players or something. I don't know.
So big up. So look, for me, I think we've definitely got. I think I'm expecting Spurs to finish in and around the top 4, and I agree with Letty, who says Liverpool's dead for me. You have a chance. Liverpool is dead because that Slot guy is so unconvincing. You can just tell he's another Eric Ten Hag. Both lack personality, and it shows with the way that Man United play football. One of the dustiest teams I've ever seen in my life in recent year. United, they are a reflection of their manager, Dusty, and Slot. He has it in him as well. He just lacks the kind of personality to bring those Liverpool players forward. So Spurs should be getting top 4 under those circumstances. And Chelsea, with that Maresca geezer, and we've got a Leicester fan in the chat, Georgie, will tell you, he was telling Don on another channel that if you're going to shake your bum for this fella, make sure you bring a pillow to the stands. When a Leicester fan is telling you to bring a pillow, you know it's a mighty disastrous task up here. So I don't give a damn. I don't expect to see Chelsea, United, or Liverpool in the top 4 this coming season, which means my club. And we will finish above Villa because Villa try to juggle Champions League football with the Prem. They just can't hack it. You know, their manager doesn't do 2 things at once. He can't multitask. He's never been able to multitask. Last season was just a dusty season. That's why they were able to get on over the line. So we're not expecting much from Villa this season. But I'm going to leave with a couple last comments and then we're gone. Aegon says he's an Arsenal fan and I think Eze Neto will really elevate your first 11. I think Eze Neto, we're guaranteed top 4. I think Eze Neto, Tony, maybe. If Tony does what Rodney is saying, then Spurs could even get top 3, in my opinion. Last comment, Slot is on proving so on is so Maresca, so is Tana, but Chelsea has Cole Palmer. We should laugh at that. Cole Palmer is going to be the saviour for Chelsea. United are making signings, yeah, but that team is still fully dusty, dustier than Tooting, Carmoon. Neto gets injured, but I'd be happy with him. Same here. I would be happy. Big up to everyone locked in, locked on. That is the Spurs latest. Hojberg is leaving. Next week, we expect to see Emerson Royale, Chicken Royale, and all that silly jokes. He will be out of the building as well. And then we are hoping that Spurs get serious and bring in Neto, Eze, Tony, and if not Tony, Gikure. I don't give a damn. I don't know. But I just don't want to see Son up top. And to be honest, I don't want to see Timo Werner on. I actually want to see Timo Werner simply playing for the under-23s this season. I don't even expect for this brother to be getting subbed on. I don't want him being subbed. I don't want Timo Werner being an option. If I got to speak to Timo and meet him, so be it. If I got to meet him and we've got to have a conversation about it, so be it. But they're paying this brother 165 grand a week. Daniel Levy, if you're watching this in your garden at home, you can pay me £165 to do what Timo Werner is doing for my club, which is absolute nothing. Pay me 165 quid. I'll do the same job as Timo Werner. I'll even turn up to training before Ange Postecoglou. How about that? That is my offer from Jed Spurs. Big up to everyone locked in, locked on. Sean, what have you got coming up this? We're probably going to have to meet up a couple times this week. You know that, innit?
Yeah, I tried to message my PRTV Spurs guys, but they've just been overcome by Bergwall and Gray, and they're still in their beds, dreaming about him. So I don't know. It'll be. You'll see me on Paxton Road at some stage this week, no doubt. And we'll certainly intersect as the signings come in. The 3 ones that Paul O'Keefe's talked about. Let's see them.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's get those signings in. Let's get excited because at the moment, I think the biggest issue that I'm having is I ain't been able to shake my bum and I really need to. So on that note, thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for locking in. Like and subscribe, and we are out. Thanks for joining.